ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? My name is Daniel and welcome to Need for Speed Champions. Today I will be showcasing one of my latest and greatest creations, the 2010 Mazda RX-8. Now this car is a pretty popular car. On the occasion I would see it on the road around my hometown. This has been one of my greatest creations, specifically for a Mazda car like this one that I have here in front of you guys. And there's a lot of cool features and techniques that I've used to get the car as accurate as I can and as accurate as possible while keeping it kind of clean and stuff. There's going to be some cool features that you're going to see here in a bit. But before we dive into the video, if you guys are new to my channel, welcome. I'm honored to have you here, and if you like what you see, make sure you like the video and subscribe to my channel so you can help push the algorithm out to more people who probably never seen cars like the Mazda RX-8 built out of Lego, especially at the minifig scale. And if you guys want to stay up to date with what's going on behind the builds and stuff, make sure you follow me on my Instagram page. I will leave my link down in the description below. You can go check it out. And if you're looking to purchase some of my instructions, the Mazda RX-8 instructions is not yet available. So let me just say that right now. But there will be some instructions coming out in the near future once I get the instructions made out and everything. But it is coming soon. If you guys want to check out all the other instructions for all the other MOCs that I've created, you can go check it out at my website, needforspeedchampions.com, where I will be selling instructions for most of my models, including the Mazda RX-8 here. So, with all that being said, let's dive right into the video. So we're going to start in the back, and I think the most obvious recognizable part of the RX-8 would be the back end of the car with its taillight configuration and the license plate holding place on the bumper. And you can see a lot of cool details in the back end of the car, especially with the taillights. And if you're wondering how I was able to get the taillights to look like that with the tiny little round holes at the back end, is because I use like a hose, like a rigid hose, something like this, but in dark bluish gray. I mean, light bluish gray, not dark. I used like a light bluish gray rigid hose, and I cut it down to a tiny size, about yay this small maybe, and I was able to get them to fit behind those trans clear pieces, and I had them inserted into 1x1 round studs with holes in the back. So that was my little technique. This idea came about when I was test building some stuff, and I decided to just test build this tail end of the tail light of the Mazda RX-8. When I got that figured out, it kindled the idea in my head, and I was going crazy with the building process. So I tried to create the bumper and everything, and the bumper was pretty much the first thing that I was able to put together. You can see the little trans clear pieces at the top here, the 1x2 trans clear plates, and I used those for like a spoiler because the spoiler is sitting so low. I didn't want to use like 1x1 round studs for it. Plus, I mean, these are separate from each other. You have this wedge slope here and you have a 1x4 tile, so there was no way I could put a 1x1 round piece in between the two without any compromise. That was the main thing that I went with, and I mean, it still looks pretty good. You can actually see right through it, so that's the amazing part of it. So for the building techniques around the back here, I use like a 1x1 brick with the stud on the side, and I even use like these little guys here, these 33. I keep calling them by their number because I still haven't memorized the name to them yet, but I use like these 3386 pieces, and these son of a bugs came in handy. I'm telling you now, when these pieces came out, I was thrilled to have them in my possession, because not only do you get to build cars that you never even tried to build before, or haven't even built before rather, but it also, it's like a way of cutting corners when it comes to building cars, and thus helps get the cars to be even more accurate, to be even more clean when it comes to building and stuff. So yeah, that came in handy for the back, especially like right over here where I had no other way to connect these slopes together without having to remove some stuff at the back. I forgot what pieces I've used in the back, so I just said some stuff. So that was a great feature to have, and that's how I was able to shape out the back and get it more accurate. Now, as for the license plate holder right here, the car's sitting so low, but I was able to use like two by 3 tiles and connect them together with a round turntable piece. I think that's what it's called. I'll show you the image here. That's the piece that I used to connect these two parts together, and I used like a bar with the clip and the 1x1 stud with the hole at the back to connect the tile pieces together. I think it'll be better if I just show you. So this is how these two are connected, and it is how I connected it in the back. You can see like the 1x1 round studs at the back with the hole, and I put the clips through those little holes there, and then I just sorry if my hand's in the way, and then I just take this little piece here, and I just close it off in the back, and it's able to hold. So it's not, so even if you have it like this, it's not gonna go anywhere. So that was a cool little technique that I used to connect the bottom portion of the car, not lower, the bottom portion of the car to the license plate housing part on the bumper, whatever you want to call it. I'll find a name for it eventually, but that's what I'm going to go with for now. Of course, we got some nice little exhaust pipes down there. Now, for the back window, I didn't do like what I did for the Corvette. I didn't just build it with black pieces. I just used trans brown pieces, and I'm looking to redo the Corvette sometime soon in regards to the back end of the car, because I want it to be like trans brown at the back instead of just having some slopes just curving around. I mean, it still looks nice on the car, but I've gotten pretty advanced with using trans brown and trans clear pieces for like headlights and windshields. So I'm probably going to edit the Corvette a bit in the future. So that's what I'm looking to do. But the back window is like, it's pretty clean. I was able to get these two corners filled in without any compromise as well. And if you look closely, you can see that I'm using like one of the new fenders that Lego Speed Champions created recently. This is like one of the older fenders that they created when Speed Champions came out in 2020, and this is the newer version of the mud guards. Very different from each other. You can see that this one has been trimmed down just a bit, and the other one right here has been trimmed down just a bit to where you can see the fenders, the mud guard outline on the side here. So that's that's the red one that I used. The one that I showed you right here, this one's white. The one that I used on the Mazda RX-8 is red. So that's one of the newer mud guards that I used, and it came pretty handy. I am going to say this is probably the first time I've used like one of the newest fenders on my new MOC, and it turned out really well. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So while we're facing the side here, you can see the side profile, recognizable still. I mean, I did a pretty good job with translating the real car into Lego in terms of the side view, the rear end, and the front end. We'll get to the front end shortly, but let's focus on the side view for now. You can see the door outline too, because as you guys know, if you guys drive a Mazda RX-8, or if you've seen one, you probably know that the Mazda RX-8 has like 4 doors. Yes, they actually have 4 doors. The 2 main doors are at the front end of the car for the passenger and the driver, and the back doors are like really small. It's like what the ones that you would see on a pickup truck. What kind of cab was it? I forgot what size cab it was. It's usually what you will find on a pickup truck, but instead of a pickup truck, they incorporated the feature into the car, which I think is pretty cool. So you can see like a little outline, and yeah, by the way, I'm using tiles to outline the door. So if you see like different tiles that I'm using, it's because I'm trying to get the outline for the doors. So that's another detail that I'm working on, that I'm paying attention to nowadays. So yeah, this is the side door at the back end of the car. Now going at the top here, you can see that I've used like a regular Speed Champions windscreen, but going to the back, I sloped it down a bit. And that was the best idea that I came up with, because I was originally planning to use like not a 1, but a 2x6 tile just to go all the way to the back here and have it sloped back that way. But instead, I was like, why don't I just use these little slope curves here, because for some reason it gives off the RX-8 vibes. So I did that. I'm really happy with it. I'm happy with the way it turned out. Now for the bottom part here, you can see that this car has like, of course, 1x1 round slopes or curves is what you want to call it. Now, I think the original car has like a side intake that goes into the fender, but I try not to be a little too messy with details and stuff, especially when you're building Lego cars. You have to get rid of some stuff just so you can have a cleaner model while it still maintains the specific car that you're building, like the Mazda RX-8 for an example. It's still an RX-8 without the side thing on the side of the car, if you know what I mean. Here are some custom wheels. These are made by Brick the Brick on Instagram, a really talented creator when it comes to creating these wheels. You can go check him out if you guys want custom wheels. He does an excellent job with creating them, so shout out to the creator for making these custom wheels specifically for well, they're not specifically for the Mazda RX-8, but the RX-8 has those type of wheels, so shout out to the creator for creating such wheels like this. All that being said, let's go into the interior. Oh, also, I will show you the counterpart and the specs of the RX-8 after the showcase, so stay tuned. So here we have a nice little interior. You can see that it's all black, of course. That's to be expected. You can see the ice blade as door handles. You can see the little center console going all the way from the back to the front here. That's another detail that I've seen in the RX-8. So I was able to incorporate that. And of course, we have a little back seat at the back. And yeah, I know the minifix can't fit in the back seat, but you know, when it comes to building cars, for me, details is everything. So I added a back seat. You can see like the cushion, the dark bluish gray thingy, 1x2 brick modified part. I was gonna use like the other piece here, but the way the seats were made on the rail car, I think they didn't. I think it was outlined. I just forgot what it looked like. I think they were outlined, but yeah. But nothing special about the interior. I mean, it's just a regular interior for a regular civilian to handle. Now we come to the front end of the car, and I think this is by far my greatest creation when it comes to creating the front end of the RX-8, and that's because I came up with a neat technique for the headlights. Because when I was designing this car earlier, I came up with this type of technique, and it gave off the Honda S2000 vibes, and I was like, nah, I'll probably save that for that model in the future, but it don't look good for the RX-8. So I was struggling a bit to come up with the headlights for the RX-8, and came up with this little technique, and I'll show you guys this little piece here right now. What I've used is like a trans-clear bar piece, and I've used two of them, one to have it curving around toward the turn signal, and the other curving down toward the grill part of the Mazda. And to connect these, you can see right here, I use like a droid arm that goes into the engine bay here. I'll show you the engine bay in just a few minutes, but I use like a droid arm to connect the headlights. Is partially connect, but they're not going anywhere. So if you turn it up like this and you can shake it a little bit, they're not going to go anywhere. So they're pretty much connected, even if it's partially connected. So they curve around toward the grill part of the car, just because the real car has like a, I wouldn't say a very aggressive look, but it's kind of semi-aggressive, and that's what I was trying to replicate from the real car. I want it to be semi-aggressive. That was the main part that I was really happy with, because at the front end too, you can see that there's wedge slopes curving around, and if you pay attention to the fender as well, you can see that the fender is kind of, it looked like it was attached to the main body of the car, but it's a part of it. So I try to replicate it as much as I can, and I was happy with the way it turned out. So yeah, the headlight for this particular car was necessary, and it worked out pretty good. Now we go underneath the car again, and you can see that there's a lot of engine details underneath. You can see that some pieces are inverted. Also, I can take this off maybe and show you guys. So this is the little fog light piece with the grill on the side. That's what I managed to create for the front of the car, and that's because I wanted to make sure I get the grill, the side grills, and the fog lights all together, because the real car does have like small fog lights at the back. I mean, at the front end of the car, and I've used like the new trans clear pieces specifically for that, because I want it to be curvy and I want it to be attached at the very front. But of course, with wedge plates like these, there is no studs at the front. So yeah, that part was necessary and it came in handy. All right, now I can show you the engine detail here. You can see this little engine block with all the extra details. Again, the droid arms that I've used to connect the headlamps and stuff. So that was a really fun build right there. I really enjoy building the front part of the car, especially when I have like extra details and stuff. And not only that, you can see through the engine bay right there. You can see right through that engine block. Well, not right through it. You can see the corners there going toward the white background. So it's a pretty. This was a huge endeavor, and I really enjoyed building this car, because starting out I was struggling a bit with the headlamps, and for a while I was trying to figure out what's the existing trans clear piece that I could use to create such headlamp that is exclusively for Mazda RX-8. And not only that, I wanted to be able to create one for the Mazda 3, and I think the Mazda 3 hatchback, which I will be creating in the near future, so be on the lookout for those. So yeah, that is the main showcase for the RX-8. I don't think I've ever mentioned this, but I've seen like other creators like SP Lineup and what's the other guy's channel? I forgot his name, but I've seen SP Lineup and the other guy create like the Mazda RX-8. So that is the end of the showcase for this original car here. Now I will show you the counterpart of the Mazda RX-8, and that would be the police version of the RX-8. So yeah, I was able to build one like this in the police form. Of course, it's got the same specs like the original car. The only main difference to it is that at the back end of the car, I use like the newest. I'll remove the spoiler so you can see it. The only main difference between the original RX-8 and the cop version of the RX-8 is that I've used like one of the newest I forgot the name to it already, but it's a slope tile piece, and that's one of the newest pieces that came out. They got this little piece off of this, because if you line these up together, that's what they look like. That's where it came from. You can very easily put a 1x1 tile there and this new piece there, and you can make a part like this. So a 1x1 tile and this piece, this piece here, whatever its name is, this is equal to the part in my hand right here. Of course, I'll show you the interior real quick, because as a cop, for the cop car, they have like gizmos and gadgets to do their jobs on the road. So of course, this car has like a computer feature inside the interior, and it's got the back seat, because I don't think when seized cars become cop cars, I don't think they put in much effort into making sure that the back end of the car is like criminal proof. So yeah, this is pretty much the showcase for the cop car. There's not a lot of details for me to show you guys around it, other than some custom wheels, which looks pretty awesome, and the fact that I've already showed you the original RX-8. So yeah, that concludes the showcases for both the cop car and the RX-8. Alright, so that officially concludes the showcase of the RX-8. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Also, do check out my website if you are interested in purchasing some instructions that are available on my website. Not the RX-X, I'm going to say it again, not the RX-X, not the RX-8, because the instructions are still in the making and it won't be completed until next month. I don't know, but that depends on how fast I can get things done. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring a bell for notifications, share this video out there, and you guys have a great day.